Good afternoon, students. This is Dr. Morgan Phoenix coming to you from Stanley, Virginia. It's a beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon in July. We're coming up on week 3, and things should start becoming familiar to you all. And likewise, that overlap between summer term B and the summer term D, that was an awful week of stress and of overload. And for those of you who might have been late on one assignment or another, during the first week of this class, I'm going to be very lenient on that. On the other hand, please do try to be on time, particularly with the discussion board postings, your initial post, because your classmates have to have time to respond to yours, okay? And then very, very briefly, just a reminder for journal article critiques, no outside or secondary research whatsoever. It's just all about that author's work, or the thesis and the strategies developed by an author, and they've spent professional time on that, and you're to honor that. No outside research, please, unless it's something that's really, really necessary to bring in to highlight either a shortcoming or a strength of that journal article. Likewise, for the discussion board, in-text citations alone are fine for Ruby Payne and Lorraine Monroe, or anything that you meet up with during the video presentations. Any course materials can be cited in text. Alrighty, and make sure that you make your responses to classmates personal. Begin your first sentence with something about what they have said. Alrighty, what they have written. That's the important part about this. The bird is always present here. Okay, here we go. For week 3, there is a new assignment here that is very, very important that you get it right. It's a very straightforward one, and it's small in terms of what you need to produce. It is a one-page paper, a one-page idea paper for your final project. And I really look forward to reading these. Okay, and I typically accept them regardless, unless you're way off base, and but with comments as to how you could strengthen your idea. The diverse school proposal, and here you have it in front of you graphically, high tech, is this is part 1 for part 1 of the diverse school proposal. It's a school or a project. You're going to either build an entire school, or you're going to do a project within a school, and it can be a very, very finely focused project within a school. And it cuts down a little bit on some of the pieces of this, the headings. I'll come to them in a moment. Okay, but you're proposing something, begin with that. I propose a such and such school or a such and such project within a school. Okay, it must serve a particular demographics and need. Okay, there has to be a reason for it, and it has to be related to diversity. It must be related to some form of a diversity issue. For students who simply propose to establish a Christian school, there has to be a real reason for why you're doing that, or and most particularly avoid anything that just says I would like to set up a school that will provide a quality education or a world-class education. That's not enough. Okay, that's what we should be doing all the time, and the establishment of Christian schools is certainly well documented, and unless there is a tremendous need and a specific community for that, then go ahead with that. But give it your best shot. Okay. And once again, one page only, double space, one page only. And avoid, you look down here, it says in the mission, when you're establishing sort of what the mission is and what the vision is for this school, avoid the cliches, the very, very time-worn and worn-out cliches of, again, a world-class quality school, quality education, a school where all students can learn. Well, that is a given, okay? They all can learn. The question is, strategically, what is it that we are going to lead them forward with? What are they going to learn? Alrighty? Diverse School Proposal, Part 1, due in week 3, and it's got to be in on time. Please, I think we should be getting up to speed now. I certainly have begun to get up to speed with regard to grading. Alrighty? One page only, no cliches, double-spaced, and again, avoid the cliches. Okay, and just for your information, the final project, which is due in week 8, has 8 headings. There are 8 pieces of that project that you will be presenting in week 8, and read them over carefully. If you look carefully at the rubric, it names and the assignment instructions for part 2 for the full project. There are those 8 headings plus many subheadings. You will not necessarily need to accentuate each heading equally. For example, if you're doing a project within a school structure, an existing school structure, then you would not need to give quite as much thought to the governance or to the budgeting and some of the accountability things, because those things should be established within a given school. You certainly still have to name as to how you're going to provide funding and how you're going to assess the program. Okay. Also, as you're looking ahead, and this is also for week 8, and if you recall, in week 2 I gave you a couple of samples of final projects for your information. You can do either a PowerPoint or a standard text presentation. I love the PowerPoints. Okay, and the one piece of information that you need to know about PowerPoints is that there has to be absolutely minimal text on the screen. You know those awful PowerPoint presentations where a presenter is reading off of the screen or from the handout that everyone got that has all of the slides listed, printed on the paper, 6 slides per page, right? And each slide is full of text, and they're just reading off of that text. And of course, by the end of the 3rd slide, you were falling asleep. So, in the case of a PowerPoint, if you present if you do your final project in a PowerPoint format for this class, you may not fill the slides with text. The text and the details have to be in the speaker's notes, hidden from sight. And you know what that makes you? As you present this, it makes you the expert in the room. You are the one that is speaking to the details and the history and the demographics and the data and the outcomes and all that kind of a thing. Okay, while they're looking at a pie chart on the screen, or they're looking at a picture of a hungry child. Okay, when you're talking about the demographics of hunger in the United States or in the community. Now, once again, for your final project idea, you are absolutely forbidden to just describe a given program in your school. Okay, or one that is being developed in your school right now, and you were just going to copy down what other people are doing to set up this program. That's just not appropriate. And I've only had a couple of instances in the 3 years I've taught this course where somebody appropriated an existing project and passed it off as their idea. Okay, that's not good, and that kind of thing ends up it ends up tragically, because. And you know the essence of tragedy is that the tragic figure never understands that they've ever done anything wrong. Okay, and that's it for today. But I would like to give you, for those of you who work ahead or who are constantly thinking about down the road, in week 4 is the last new thing that will happen in this course, which is called the case study. And for the case studies, I want you to understand there are very, very specific instructions for this, and I'm going to give you just a brief summary right now. First of all, for case study number 1 in week 4, that's a week away now. Don't worry too much about it. You will be reading a 2-page document about a student named Serge Romanich, and this is the only source of information that you have at your disposal. You are not to use any outside research. You don't have to go looking anywhere. You don't have to make anything up. It's all right here. 2 pages, and you're going to make a summary of that. You're going to do a 1-page summary of what you've written here. It's going to begin with a thesis statement which answers the questions that's labeled at the top here. Is this child mislabeled? Okay, is Serge Romanich mislabeled? You'll answer that basically how you feel about it in the first sentence, and it's not necessarily a given. There are shades of correctness and of accuracy here, as we know from our experience in schools, as administrators make up their minds about how to deal with a situation. So they've done a certain thing with Serge Romanich, and do you agree with it or not? And then, so you do a 1-page summary. You'll do a SWOT, an SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. A SWOT diagram is typically a graphic quadrant. Marketing programs and businesses use this. I encourage you most strongly to use the outline format, and you'll be listing 3 or 4 strengths, 3 or 5 weaknesses, as many opportunities, as many threats. And the strengths are what are we doing right? It's not the matter of Serge Romanich's strengths. It's the school program and what happens with him and what the teachers do and some of the particular staff members. Okay, and you'll be picking out the strengths of the case, the weaknesses in the program and what happened there and what went on, things that they really should have done better, opportunities, things that they didn't think to do. And it's obvious from the information that you have that they should have maybe given some thought to that. And then threats. Threats are the things that if you don't get them right, if you don't fix them, then something bad is going to happen to your organization. So you have your summary, you have your SWOT, which is one page SWOT. Usually goes over a few lines onto the second page because double spaced, depending on how many things you come up with. It goes over a page. And then you end up with your case recommendations. What do you think you would do? If you were the site administrator, I would do this. I would set up a such and such program. I would allow for, and use action words there, and you'll be giving like 5 or 6 or 7 recommendations for what you would do concerning Surge, Ramanage, concerning the school, concerning the community. But it'll all come from what you read in the scenario that we'll give. But more on that next week. Okay. So for today, and for this week, you're doing great on the journal article critiques. You're doing great on the discussion board. Alrighty. And all you have to think about new for this coming week is that Diverse School Proposal Part 1 is a 1-page paper. It's your idea. Here's what I would like to do. Go back and look at the 2 samples that I posted in week 2, and Google, or not Google, but cut and paste or copy and paste that link to Jason Hilgeman, student in this class, that is building or has built a school in the Dominican Republic. And go online and take a look at what he's done. That was his project, and it was great. Alrighty, good luck to you all. God bless you all. I hope you're enjoying things. Oh, I was going to have another dog for you. I wanted to. There's one over there in the back of the chair. Gracie, Lassie. That's Lassie up there. I think have you seen Lassie? And then there's the dinky dog. There's a splash of sort of yellow down there in the chair. That's the dinky dog, and they're terrific dogs. And they're probably about half of what the value of my retirement is spending time with them. So here you go. Have a great week, and if you have questions, post it in the Ask Dr. Phenix forum. And that's it for today. See you next time, Lord willing. Bye-bye.